All right, folks, we continue on Smile Jamaica. We're outside this morning, and coming up around 9 o'clock will be the Spelling Bee finals. 14 youngsters, and we wish them all good luck. We're joined by Assistant Superintendent of Police Warren Williams from the Cybercrime Division. That's him right there. And on the phone with us is the Children's Advocate, Dan Gordon Harrison. Can you hear us, Mrs. Gordon Harrison? Dan, can you hear us? All right, we'll try to get to her. Good morning, sir. And welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Good morning, sir.
Let me start specifically with this video that was going across with this youngster, which we don't even want to talk about.
Well, we need to, so those who don't know, there was a video with a child who was being abused by an elder man that went viral.
Right.
And it disturbed a lot of people.
That's what we were talking about. And then we all thought it was a local video, and then we heard, not certain if it was from your unit, we would have heard that it was not from Jamaica. How did that come about first? How did you find out that it wasn't local? If you could tell us, because I know some of these things you probably can't.
Certainly with incidents like that, first of all, different agencies would get in touch with us to say, here it is that something has gone viral. Can you assist with the investigation to see where this material originated from? So I got a call, and right away we commenced investigation. Then you would have had your ears on the ground to see what kind of intelligence you can pick up. So we picked up some intelligence that it originated in Trinidad. Jamaica is a part of a 24/7 network, 77 different countries.
77 different
countries globally, where we share information and we share investigative skills. So right away, I got in touch with my Trinidad counterpart, because it was rumored that it originated in Trinidad. So having sent him that sort of request, immediately he was said that indeed a report came to us within that time period. It seems as if the person was identified, the child was identified in the video by the parent, and they came to the police station in Trinidad to make a report. Of course, we also understood that the father supposedly was beaten and he was on the run. So right away we could communicate that information and rest assured and feel relieved that it did not originate in Jamaica.
So let me ask you, for the interest of the child, because Trinidad is a part of the Caribbean, CARICOM, it's our neighbor, yeah?
Right.
Was the person charged? Has the person been found the abuser? Do you know anything about that?
Well, let me say the latest news is investigation continues, because now we get involved our other counterparts who are looking into the matter, and we recognize that, in fact, it has originated in another jurisdiction, and the person have been arrested at this point.
Let's look at this jurisdiction now and talk about cybercrime. A lot of people shared the video, right? A lot of people watched the video.
Yes.
Some shared it because they wanted to alert the security force about it. Some people were very disturbed, but people shared the video all across the island. Is that a crime?
Yes, it is. It is. And we get into the general thing now of what we call oversharing. We want to be the first to share these kind of derogative and news that is very disturbing. And in fact, under the Child Pornography and Prevention Act, it is an offense under Provision 4 and 5. Provision 4 speaks about producing and distributing, and that can attract a fine or imprisonment of over 15 years. And in Provision 5, it also speaks about possession and access. Knowingly possess and access this kind of pornographic information indeed is a breach of the laws of Jamaica, and persons have to be careful. Indeed, all persons who possesses it and who shares it and distributes it would have committed an offense.
Just before we go to the Children's Advocate, I was talking to you before. So you're suggesting that had Empress sent it to me, didn't ask her to send me, but she sent it to me, and you saw that on my phone, I could go to jail for that?
Indeed, you can go to jail. I'll tell you something even more than that. Even within our forensic environment, examiners, if you send it to me, we are not allowed to share it with our fellow examiners because you would have breached. You would have possessed it and distribute it. Once you receive it, it stays within your examination territory and you deal with it accordingly.
Yeah. Mrs. Gordon Harrison?
Yes, I'm here.
Morning again. Wow, you have such an incredibly tough job, but I don't even know if you know, but why would we want to share something like that in the first place?
I think two things. Human beings react to very shocking things and things that disturb them greatly. And so instinctively, spurs on a debate, and it makes you want to say to somebody else, have you seen this? How bad or how low have we got? And so I think that natural instinct to share kicks in. And of course, we react to sensational things. So instinctively that's done. But very importantly, as Superintendent Williams has said, we need to keep reminding persons that despite this natural urge and inclination, it is an offense, because you have to remember that there's the whole psychological impact and the re-traumatization and stigma that attaches to a child who is portrayed in such a way or who could subsequently be identified by a member of the public. So we have to remember that despite, the natural thing to say, let's share this and let's talk about it, once a child is involved, you have to hold back on the sharing.
Diane, I want to ask you, what are the trends saying in Jamaica with child pornography? What are we seeing? What's the data saying? And what measures are being put in place to make sure that we can sensitize the public and let them know that we should not be sharing it? And how are we dealing with child pornography? There are a lot of questions there, so I'm going to sit back and listen because you have the information, and I know that you're on a mission to try and end this. So share with us what's happening from your office, please.
All right. Well, the video that we saw, which we have now recognized is not a Jamaican situation, is very much typical of what happens here as well, which is why I think all of us, from the cybercrimes unit to Sissoko to my office, we all became very much alert because we recognize that there's a great possibility that it could very well be here. So we are not strangers to that kind of happening, particularly amongst our teenagers. What we see sometimes is, yes, you have very young children who are put in compromising positions by grown men, but we're seeing a lot of revenge porn, which essentially is you and I are in high school together, we're hitting it, we're having a great time, you're my girlfriend, I'm your boyfriend kind of a thing, and we record because it is the digital age and everybody feels they need to be a star. So even though it's an intimate, private moment and, you are having a sexual encounter as teenagers, you record it. When you break up with me and I have moved on to the next girl, of course, you get very upset and very enraged, and so you make that go viral. And so there's a lot of revenge porn happening both ways, both girls showing themselves and men and boys in compromising situations, but even more so, boys doing it in relation to girls. And so we're seeing too much of that. And what we have done, certainly from the perspective of the Office of the Children's Advocate, is launched a project which thankfully, Empress, you are a very integral part of, which is our Be Social, Be Smart campaign, which addresses this issue as well as other social media issues, how to share responsibly, how not to share things, when to share them, and in fact how this reflects on you as an individual. So we've been doing a lot of public education, both with the teenagers and the younger children, as well as with school administrators and parents, as to how to help us to change the lingua so that we're having responsible attitudes towards what we record in the first place and then what we share. And then, of course, there's always the reminder that not only is it socially irresponsible, but that it attracts criminal consequences.
Yeah. I feel so sorry for some of our children to experience that.
Having said all of that, Mrs. Gordon Harrison, and there's a huge focus rightfully now on what's going on, and unfortunately, are we getting better, things getting better, or no?
It's hard to tell at this point. I've always said to persons there are a lot of things that existed before, but we didn't necessarily know the extent of it because we're in an instant world now in terms of information and where the technology is. even if it's the same amount that's happening, you're certainly hearing about it more and it's spreading a lot quicker. So it's really hard to measure in the short term whether we're making any gains, but it's important to keep at it so that any gains that could be made are not eroded, or any kind of momentum that we gather isn't in fact slowed down.
Great. We're talking about technology now. We know that the Ministry of National Security has the Stay Alert app, where people can report crimes. Is it anonymous or not is a question. I think it's anonymous. But the question now to both of you, when we see the video, ASP, Diane Gordon, what do we do with the video? How do we report the crime when we see it, if we see it? Especially if you say, then this is a problem. You say it's illegal if I get it, and it's a crime. But how, if I get it, what am I to do with it? Not just delete. What if the security force has not been alerted as yet? Where do we send the video using technology?
Share it straight with somebody who is attached to a state agency that can make a difference. So share it with the police. Send it to the cybercrimes unit. Send it to me so I can get it in the relevant channels. Send it to the National Children's Registry so that we now can take the responsible action. Because if you share it with somebody who can make an intervention, that's not an offense. But if you're sharing it just for the shock value and for conversational purposes, that is in fact.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You say it's not an offense, but what about the person who sent it to me in the first place? Isn't that an offense?
It is.
So then if I share it with you and you say who I got it from, and I say Empress, don't I,
we know Jamaican people stay already.
I can't speak for the police, but I can say that good sense usually prevails, that you, at that time when you get it, you're more focused and you're so riveted on rescuing and intervening on behalf of that child, that becomes the predominant feature that operates on your mind.
Sorry to cut you there. I just have to ask you.
Find out who sent it.
All right, first thing, and very important, is information. Where do we send it? You say send it to a state agency. And I've been in this situation, and I'm going to say it right now, ASP Williams. It's not so easy if you just send things. The process, what is the email? What is the, I know Stay Alert, you can send the video right there. Stay Alert app, download it. But for others who don't have the app, how and which number, which email?
Physically bring it to you?
All right, let me say.
Because people now go police station. We don't do that homework there. Where do we send it on the phone?
Let me say, other than the Stay Alert app, it's good to be familiar with the police control and emergency lines. You can call police control. Or if you don't want to visit the police station, then call the police station or the Cybercrimes Division, 922-3288. But let me just add, we can safely say at this point, I've witnessed 2 convictions last week and 1 yesterday. One was for revenge porn, and we are happy that the justice system is now getting more au fait with the offenses and the prosecution. And I've seen yesterday in the St. Catherine's Circuit where a youngster at 18 was convicted for possession of child pornographic material. So we're going somewhere. The tools are in place. There is an amended Cybercrime Act of 2015. So we're getting somewhere based on what we do at the Cybercrime Division. The persons there are trained, they are skilled, they can investigate these matters. And as I said, we are part of a global network which assists with this investigation. So there's no place to hide.
Final question for you, sir. Empress sends it to me. I bring it to you, and you say, who sent it? And I say, I'm not telling you, but I want to show you. Anything can happen to me for that?
Well, discretion. Police always have discretion.
And they say
it's an
good sense will
investigation.
prevail.
Good sense will prevail.
All right, thanks for coming. Mrs.
Thank
Gordon
you.
Harrison, thanks very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Can I add very quickly as well, info at oca.gov.jm. You can send it to us as well if you are completely afraid of the police, and we'll get it into the hands of the authorities as well.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Be
Diane Gordon
social.
Harrison.
Empress. Bye now.
Thank you. Be
Children's
social, be
Advocate of
smart.
Jamaica.
What was it? Be
Warren
what?
Williams, be social and be smart.
All right. Be social, be smart, be socially aware, and share with care. ASP, I come in your office, you know.
Yes.
Warren Williams, who's from the Cybercrime Division. Retirement, not just for the older folks like me. Well, we're going to retire early.
When are you retiring?
After the break. We retire a long time.